Welcome to this Techies webinar. I'm Sujit John, and I have with me my colleague Shilpa Fadnis. The two of us will moderate the discussion. We hope you and your families are staying safe and doing well. Our discussion today is on fast forwarding your IT innovation with everything as a service. The discussion is in association with HPE, Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and SHRO Systems. We have all heard of on-premise data centers and public cloud. We are now beginning to see the emergence of a new form of IT infrastructure offering that combines in many ways the benefits of on-premise data centers and the public cloud. And it looks extremely promising. To discuss this, we have with us three seasoned professionals. We have with us Anirudh Shrotriya. Anirudh is the Managing Director of SHRO Systems. We had Anirudh on this platform in April when we discussed VDI, Virtual Desktop Infrastructure. SHRO Systems is a certified HPE Platinum partner. It helps companies with their digital transformation journeys. Anirudh has served as the president of the HPE Asia Pacific and Japan Advisory Board and as council member of the Worldwide HPE Advisory Board. He's a keen golfer, an Everest base climber, camper, and certified scuba diver. Welcome, Anirudh.
We have with us Vikram Kumar Yerram. Vikram is country manager for HPE India's GreenLake Cloud Services. Vikram has close to 25 years of rich experience in diverse roles at HPE and HCL Infosystems. He comes with a strong background in solution selling, account management, alliances, and product management. In his 21 years at HPE, he's worked in various business units in sales, compute, storage, software, and services. Welcome, Vikram.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy to be a part of this platform.
And we have Pratap at Joshi. Pratap is CIO of Mercedes-Benz India. He has been in global and leadership positions in IT for over 2 decades in leading automotive companies, including Denso, New Holland, Fiat, JCB, and now with Daimler. He's a part of Daimler's Mercedes-Benz division since 2013, and he's based in Pune. Welcome, Pratap.
Hello.
Those of you viewing this can send in questions through the Facebook comment box. Sujit and I will put them to Anirudh, Vikram, and Pratap. Anirudh will make a small presentation and then we'll get into a discussion. Over to you, Anirudh.
Thank you. Allow me to share my screen. Let me know when it's visible. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for this platform, Techies. And I've always said this, I like being called a techie because I'm one. But it also feels to be part of a tribe, and it feels a little bit closer to what we do on a day-to-day basis. So this Times of India initiative is extremely great and well received. And I in fact follow Techies very often. Every Wednesday, I make sure I look at the page. Today, we are here to talk about fast forwarding your IT innovation with everything as a service. It's more of a trend, and it's a great opportunity to be able to share my thoughts, our thoughts, in fact. My name is Anirudh Shrotriya. I'm the Managing Director at SHRO Systems. We are a 33 years old IT solutions company. And being 33 years in this industry, we have seen the evolution of IT very closely. We have seen it grow from legacy data centers where a lot of compute power and storages were locked into those data centers to now where we are slowly and very, very fast moving towards consumption-led IT. And if you really look at it from a perspective of where we are today, data, AI, and cloud are driving a lot of innovation for us. And those are, in fact, one of those factors that the everything as a service or IT consumption is being promoted in the country. If you look at what is accelerating next for organizations, and exactly if I go a little deeper, you look at data, and data is being created in tons in companies, in various platforms, and that data has to be harnessed, has to be stored, has to be analyzed, has to be also rightly used to create the right outcomes. When you look at cloud, it is unlocking enterprise agility, and we saw this in the pandemic more. If you see what happened to us in 2020, has redefined how people look at IT, and people are realizing the power of cloud in whichever form it is, but enterprise agility is what cloud is driving. And then when you look at AI, it is driving a lot of insights. A lot of business outcomes are driven by insights which we are deriving out of AI. But it is only at the intersection of all these three that we are now being able to, we can drive innovation or we can shape what is next. And at SHRO Systems, we believe that this is where is a space where a lot of innovation we are going to get to our customers. We are getting that ability for our customers to be able to innovate at their end, but also to drive better business outcomes for them. This is something that is a statement that we always give out, and it's a joint statement with us and HPE. We believe that the cloud is something that comes to you is the HPE GreenLake service that we are offering. But in this statement lies a lot of depth. In fact, if you look at it, IT needs to be delivered to customers when they need it, where they need it, and how they need it. In fact, a lot of customers are locked in with a lot of legacy infrastructure. And if you look at companies who are in, say, auto manufacturing, people who are doing garment manufacturing, or whichever industry they are spending a lot of their time in managing IT rather than managing their businesses. And we are going to customers and we're telling the customers that here we are an IT vendor. Leave the IT worries to us. Let us manage your IT. Let us deliver them as a service to you. And you can focus on your businesses. And increasingly, we are finding that customers have to be very, very agile in their businesses to be able to compete in a global market that we are in today. How do they do that? And if they are constantly being plagued with older infrastructure, which are not agile, which are not secure, how do you look at a system where IT is very modern, very highly technical, highly technology driven, and is with the best innovation, which will drive their businesses forward? And we are believing that the way we are delivering the services today is a combination of innovation that is happening at their end, innovation that is happening at our end, and we're bringing them together to be able to deliver a foundation on which they can build their businesses. Whether it's the latest technology, we will deliver to them as a service because they are not buying that infrastructure. They are investing in that infrastructure. Let it be any apps, let it be any data, wherever they are, we can deliver this service. So that's our promise to our customers. In a certain sense, if you look at our offering, you look at the landscape today for any customer, they are buying a lot of compute, they are buying storages, they're buying networking switches from an IT hardware landscape, which is powering their edge applications or their data center applications, wherever their applications are residing. They need a lot of IT consumption that they do. We at HPE SHRO Systems have ensured that everything that we are offering to them, whether it's GreenLake, which is all the data center requirements of storage, of compute, of Aruba networking, for example, we are delivering that as a service. Not only that, we're saying, let it be your end devices requirement, or let it be your print requirement. We'll deliver it as a device as a service, or we'll deliver it as print as a service. But in general, the pay-as-you-use services model is becoming a mainstay for us, to our customers. And we tell them, we have a skin in the game with you. We are a partner in IT. You can trust us because everything is consumption-led. You can scale up, you can scale down. Look at an example of healthcare, for example, that happened recently in the pandemic. They really got an onslaught of load, or the workload increased a lot for them, whether it's a patient or whether it's the doctors or whether it's the infrastructure in general. And they had to scale up overnight. But a lot of hospitals and a lot of healthcare companies who had adopted a consumption-led IT model that equally were able to scale with the demand and were able to service a lot of us. And thankfully, we were able to get the required services. And a lot of hospitals and a lot of healthcare people were not in that model, and they suffered a lot because they couldn't really put their infrastructure up in overnight. And if you look at it, a lot of use cases like this will come up, which will be very relevant to us. I'll share a minute on sustainability. And if you look at where we are today, and you look at planet Earth, we are burdening ourselves with so much of consumption of IT, which is not good for the economy, for the environment, also for the economy perspective. But with the consumption-led IT model, you can actually optimize your consumption to the right levels. A lot of infrastructure is locked in data centers, unused, but still powered and creating energy, not energy efficient. They're not helping the environment. But how can we look at a model which can also drive sustainability, also achieve our sustainability goals, but also help us in a digital transformation? And that is the model of consumption-led IT. We believe at HPE SHRO Systems that these are some of the benefits that not only cost that you're saving, but you're also helping the environment if you're aligning yourself to a consumption-led model. And we have some data facts here which were taken, and these were taken a little earlier, but these are facts which are very relevant and which will play out in the market as we speak. I'm just taking a small testimony of a customer which we had taken. This is a post-pandemic, it's a pre-pandemic customer, which is a large auto manufacturing customer, which said, and quote unquote, saying that from my point of view, I can sleep well at night knowing we won't run out of storage capacity. If we need more storage, we get more storage. We just have to pay a little bit more every month. But this is a testimony of the fact that a CIO or a IT head or the organization CXOs can sleep well at night because that IT is being taken care of. We are not just supplying the IT and leaving them. We are taking them to the end mile and saying that, hey, I have your back. You can rest assured, whether it's a peak Diwali load that we're entering now, a festive load, and you can take any use case examples. You'll find the consumption-led IT is only driving efficiencies for customers in a private cloud environment. Thank you. This is just what probably I could share in the small time I had. But SHRO Systems is on a path for being an everything as a service partner. We believe that there is a lot of resiliency, that business resilience that is available when you look at everything as a service or a consumption-led IT. Because business resiliency comes from IT flexibility, it comes from agility, it comes from security. And infrastructure, when you consume that as a service, offers the same thing, right? It offers flexibility, it offers scalability to IT architecture. And we are in that mode where we believe that we want to be a partner to our customers. We just don't want technology to be delivered and then finished off. We want to walk the end mile. So we are a consulting partner, and we believe that that's the way the industry will benefit. Thank you. That's all from my side. Namaste.
Okay, thanks, Anirudh. Vikram also has a short presentation. It's flexibility, scalability, and security.
Yeah, thanks, Sujit. And I think excellent presentation by Anirudh as usual. I'll take a few minutes to explain the concept of GreenLake to some of our participants here, so that they get a first-hand view of what it is. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So very simple agenda from my side. I try to keep it small. So I want to explain to everyone what is GreenLake, what are the offerings that we have, and what does hybrid cloud mean to our customers, and how are we helping them solve this complexity for our customers. And then I will quickly summarize. And a small context here. So if you see, 95% of the organizations have a combination of public and private cloud environments. And the reason why I wanted to put up this statistic is, when people think of cloud, they always think about public cloud. And the reality is that there's a large footprint of private cloud environments that the customers are also running, which are either on-prem or off-prem co-located for them. So that is point number one. Point number two is, the 40% of applications still are residing in private cloud environments, and the spend into these private cloud environments is just growing. And for various customers, hybrid cloud means different things. For some customer, on-prem and in the cloud is hybrid. For some customers, a combination of on-prem, off-prem, and public cloud is hybrid. For some customers, they need to have multiple public clouds to be hybrid. So depending on what kind of environment you're running, hybrid has a different connotation to different customers. And we've been seeing that customers have been doing traditional purchases, so they have been floating RFPs, tenders, or requirements where they finalize their specifications, seek proposals, negotiate, conclude. And this is a very time-consuming process, and our IT teams and the CIOs and CTOs complained that they have to interface with procurement, finance, legal to get all these things done. But it also had some good things about everything being under their control, no issues around data privacy, compliances are met. But then came the public cloud offering. They promised agility, scalability, flexibility. And I think one of the most important things that they introduced is pay per use or pay for consumption. And that is what caught on with most of our customers. And then there are some inherent challenges as we speak. We interact with various customers across diverse industries, and mature customers who've been in public clouds for 4 or 5 years, and they really feel that it is very difficult to predict their cost, because people are just going and clicking on infrastructure or VM instances, and then they just know at the end of the month. And depending on which industry you are, I learned a new term last week. I was only worried about customers worrying about security, latency, and data privacy. I got to know a new term called data residency, which also means that where the data resides is also very, very important. So that is also one thing there. And what we at HPE thought is, how do we marry these two and get something best of both worlds for our customers? And that's how we started this whole offering around GreenLake, which is as a service model, where we give complete flexibility, agility, and as Anirudh said, it is about the cloud-like experience, and we bring the cloud to our customers. So they have, the full control that they have. They are able to comply with their security requirements and, data privacy requirements. And, we feel that we have a great, compelling value proposition for our customers with GreenLake. And this is a statement from our CIO, Antonio Neri, which really, puts forward our vision that we will, GreenLake is just not, a business unit within HP, but it is a way we will deliver our, solutions to our customers. This is a very good placeholder slide for, explaining GreenLake. And as Anirudh rightly pointed out, it's a cloud that comes to you, whether your data application infra is residing in the edge or in the public cloud or in your own data center or co-located for you. We believe that hybrid cloud is an experience, and how we are going to deliver this experience actually is something that makes a huge difference for our customers. And we want to do it in a very, very intuitive self-service model. It is pay-per-use. You can scale up and down, and it is also managed for you. And as we speak, the most important workloads are available from the GreenLake portfolio, and all these are the most popular workloads. We started with the basic infrastructure as service, compute and storage, and networking. And now all the most popular workloads are available. For example, if you talk about data protection, we offer backup as a service, so that you don't need to buy the device and the software and the services separately. It is available to you as a service, and you're just paying for what you back up on a daily basis. Similarly, private cloud is available. We are very proud to say that within 5 clicks and 2 minutes, you should be able to create your VMs on the fly and create your own public cloud. So all these, this is not a comprehensive list. This is a representative list, and this is a ever-growing list, and we keep adding new workloads, as and when we get demands from our customers and channel partners. Okay, very difficult to deliver such a complex solution without having the right partners. So right from OEM partners, system integration, we have very good partners like SHRO Systems, who are having the capability to take this whole offering to our customers across various segments. I also want to talk to you about the GreenLake management services, because it is just not designing and implementing the solutions for our customers. We also want to give them an option of running it for them. And as environments are becoming very complex, something on-prem, something off-prem, something in the public cloud, it requires a different level of skill set for our customers to manage. And wherever customers have come back to us and said, "Hey, HP team, can you manage it for us?" Absolutely, we can do it for you. And the reason why it is optional is, we have our partners like SHRO, who also are capable of delivering these services. So we also give the option of our customers to take these services as a combination of HPE GreenLake infrastructure as a service and solution as a service, along with the GreenLake management services or the managed services coming from the partner themselves. So this is an optional service, and depending on the engagement model, it can differ from engagement to engagement. Let me quickly switch gears, and this is a very important slide that I want all of you to take back with you. When we talk about hybrid cloud and that the world is going to be hybrid, we really want to also do something for our customers to help them manage this complexity. And whether you are a CFO or CIO or an IT admin or a developer or an application owner, we want to all these personas to get information from a single portal, and that's what GreenLake Central is for you. So whether you are wanting to know what is your monthly consumption pattern, whether you want to know how your infrastructure utilization is happening, how do you want to forecast your capacity for the next 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, everything is available to you at the click of a button. And we also provide an option for our customers where if they are using any instances in AWS or Azure, we are able to pull that information and populate in the GreenLake Central portal so that customer gets a complete visibility of what is on-prem within GreenLake and what is off-prem in public cloud. Okay, last slide from my side. So what do we do for our customers? We provide something called right mix advisory service to our customers, because most often customers say, if they are embarking on their cloud journey, they want to know what is the best place for putting their workloads. Or we have mature customers who want us to review and say whether their utilization is good, whether they should re-architect, move something around. So that is the first place for us to start. We can definitely design and implement those solutions for you. We offer the best-in-class HPE hardware and software solutions to our customers, a wide choice. We can architect the solution for you with using the best building blocks that we have. Offering includes the leading software solutions from Microsoft, Red Hat, SUSE, VMware, SAP. I showed you the list. So it is a very, very comprehensive and exhaustive list. And even we provide some third-party complementary products to complete the solution for our customers. As Anirudh said, we ensure that the customers are used to for running their business critical and mission critical environments are definitely met. And to just add on to it, we can provide the optional GreenLake management services. So just a takeaway from my side, whenever you think about GreenLake as an offering, think about 2 words: experience, which is the edge to cloud as a service experience. So experience is the word that I want you to remember. And the second is outcome, because we are delivering guaranteed outcomes to you. And these are the 2 takeaways that I want to leave it with you. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you. A very interesting new model emerging. Very new to me. I had not really heard about it. Except briefly earlier when we had Shro on this panel. Pratap, I wanted to hear from you. You heard both of them. How do you see this model emerging?
Yeah, hi Sujit, and I think the discussion over whatever actually happening today is as a service. Everything as a service is something really interesting. As a CIO or IT head of any organization, what would actually I will look forward to? That my systems, my processes should keep on running continuous basis, and this should be actually, and whenever actually I want to do whatever I want to do, or the customer demand comes in, I should be able to fulfill that. That would be my requirement. Looking at the scenario as a CIO, what actually used to do is whatever actually the customer critical applications or maybe production critical applications, which is very much dependencies, we used to host it on-prem, because that is something actually keep to your heart that no, this should be on our prem so that it is not going away. And whenever actually I look into it, it's in my reach and I want to maintain it. Of late, what happens is, due to the changes in our demographic situation, the geographical situation, political situation, also the market demand, which is actually emerging very, very fast, including the pandemic situation, which actually we have gone through recently, that we actually, all of us, most of us are working at home. And that actually drive us to new thoughts and processes that what exactly we should do. But there actually this on-prem situation should keep on working and we should keep on doing on this, or actually it should be going to some other level. So this was one of the pitch where actually everybody starting from the top of the organization till the operator level, they actually asking to themselves. And this created, of course, there was a journey earlier by many companies, but this has actually multiplied the thought processes that the services model is emerging as a very good concept. It may be anybody. Earlier, services means it's only the services of software. Software as a service, SaaS, was only requirement, and it was very much popular amongst the CIOs. That's something I wanted to host it. The application should be hosted somewhere outside, so that's it. But moving off late, and all this scenario, whatever actually I discussed earlier, is driven us very hard so that our production criticality system, or even our customer-driven systems, has to run instantly. And that is basically, if I'm not working at prem, my people are not available. I do not know about my quality of the power consumption, which is actually providing to my data center, which actually on-prem I have. I do not know about the network statistics. I do not know about the physical security and other cyber security, blah, blah, blah. How do I actually do it? So this model, which is basically, infrastructure as a support or services or everything as a services is come to the picture. And I think today, most of us, the CIOs, what actually are looking at, it is not only the desktop or laptop. Actually, we are not procuring, but also we are going as a service, but also the entire infrastructure, network, or even the servers, everything actually wanted to do as a service, so that I don't have to run the show. It is only the service provider who is providing this has to run the show. I only have to maintain the contracts, what actually I want. I have to deliver. They should deliver what actually I need to require to run the show. So that understanding, if I have of the supplier, that is something actually very much relevant for me to run the business. I don't have to worry about my database administration. I don't have to worry about my power supply consumption. I don't have to worry about my application uptime. I don't have to worry about my computing power. If my computing power is something less because the accessibility of my application is slower, then customer sitting at home will not have the customer experience, what actually I wanted to give it to him. I'm in such a segment where actually my customer experience is very vital, very important, where the customer has to feel the same experience if he's not visiting to my customer center or my dealership. So they have to feel the same experience sitting at home, and they should be able to see my product, my services, my blah, 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 everything. So how to do that? My computing power has to be very, very fast. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about the storage. I don't have to worry about the backup, that I have to send my database administrator to office to do my backup on a regular basis. It was not possible, 1.5 years or 2 years of the sales, where all the pandemic situation were there. We are not going to our office, not going to a data center, nothing about it. How do we do that? So remotely, if somebody is managing that, it was sufficient for me. I only used to have my dashboard that what exactly are the services being maintained or being done. So that is something very much sufficient. I don't have to worry about my disaster recovery. In case of any pandemic situation go to a worst scenario, how do I actually cope up as a CIO? The business continuity is the critical, right? Without business continuity criticality, that is something actually we cannot sustain, because in the VUCA world, everything is uncertain. We never expected this pandemic situation to come in. We never expected that semiconductor will be an issue across the globe. We are not expecting this thing, but is happening. How do we actually counteract that? To counteract that, we have to have everything as a services, where my partner, my service provider can take the responsibility what I want to run. And that is how actually this world is now going to run. And definitely cloud is one of the segment where actually brought in this into our mind that this is possible. I do not want to tell about the private cloud, hybrid cloud, blah, blah, blah. But these services, cloud is one of the component. And taking forward, I think this is going to be the future for everyone.
Okay. In cost terms, how does it pan out? What is your sense? TCO, on-premise versus cloud and all that?
The costing part is very interesting topic. If you really see about on-prem or on-site, we have to invest everything in one go. And as a business head or IT head, I need to actually see that what actually I do require to run 5 years down the line. I do not calculate any computing power for today. If I calculate the hardware, I calculate the computing power or the RAM or the storage capacity, I have to calculate at least 5-year ROI, right? And then this is the tendency of our CIO to keep 30% above and above it. You can ask anybody in the IT industry. There's something very much relevant. We do not keep it that what actually I require, only I plan for that. I plan for something above 30% as a gap in between, so that in case of any surge come in, I should be able to cater into. First thing is I'm investing everything upfront. From the beginning, I have to investing for the 5 years, what actually I am able to see. I had predicted something in 2019 that my business will grow by 30%. Unfortunately, it did not happen for everyone because the pandemic situation was never predicted. Nobody in this world would have predicted about the pandemic situation. Everybody's business went down. Whatever investment plan we had in 2019 had to be gone for 20, 21, 23, and like that. This business dip or the processing not happening is also caused a lot of load on the cost book. I had calculated 5 years plan. I had calculated 30% extra. I have planned everything. I have maintaining my own data center, everything I have planned. So this model was working fine when everything was going fine. But in this uncertainty world where nothing actually is predictable, I cannot go ahead with this planning anymore. So this was a thought process came to our mind in this pandemic time where the thought process had changed altogether. That no, I think this is not going to work anymore. We have to think something different. And that different is we have to think as a service. I providing laptop and desktops. Apart from that, my mobile devices, everybody is actually, I lease it out. I do not buy the mobile devices. Why should I buy it when actually I can have a fancy devices in every 3 years or 2 years of time? My leasing period is 2 years. I can go for the upgradation and get a new mobile devices every 2 years time. If I buy it, it will have a liability to me to maintain it, to upgrade it, and then again going for a new device. So this is something actually big pain for me. So we have thought it that we should go it as a service. I have just outsourced to somebody and I get it the lease 2 years time. I get a new mobile phone. i14 is released, I get it. So that way, everything like it may be the server, it could be network devices, so it could be anything. Today, we are as an organization, we are going ahead with a complete service module. We are not thinking only limited to only servers, our network devices, end user devices, our network devices, everything is actually we are planning to going out as a service so that my service continuity, business continuity keeps on happening. And rest of the things, upgradation, patching it, making it availability is responsibility to the service provider. And I think service providers are happily doing that. And as a customer, it is for happily I'm doing it. It is win-win for both of us.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Anirudh also mentioned that you tend to overinvest when you have on-premise systems. Yeah.
So, Sujit, I just wanted to answer 3-4 things Pratap sir mentioned very correctly. One is about the capacity planning. He talked about how he plans for 5 years. I think capacity planning is one very important thing. He talked about unpredictability and the risk involved in that. And third, he spoke about the ability to have the the course correction. If something doesn't work as per plan, how do you do the course correction? And I think if you really see what we are trying to address as a problem statement for our customers is exactly what he said. Since they do not know, usually the systems are always sized for peak loads. Peak loads don't happen every day, right? They just happen once in a couple of hours, or maybe end of month or beginning of month, something like that. So that is one efficiency we want to bring back to our customer, number one. Number two, we want to take out the risk of whether it has to be 20%, 30%, or 50% from this mind of the customer, that we want to just give them capacity ahead of demand. Okay, so just in time, their manufacturing industry used to this concept of just in time inventory, right? So this is just in time IT, for them. And number three, I think we are also able to mitigate the risk for the customer. And there is skin in the game, as Anirudh rightly mentioned. There's a skin in the game, and we are able to share the risk with the customer and pass on whatever rewards we are getting. And the beauty of this whole concept is if customer grows as predicted, the price automatically keeps dropping. So there is no renegotiation. There's not a rate contract that if you buy 10, I'll give you X price. If I buy 20, I'll give you Y price, which is lower than X. The design, the concept itself is say that the more you consume, the cheaper it starts becoming for you. So there's great incentive for customers to grow. And we really want our customers to grow, beyond what they've actually planned. And that's what we have seen by experience. Because when we ask customers to peg a number, they're very conservative. They'll say it's 8%, 10%, but in reality, they're actually going 15, 20%, especially in a country like India.
Okay. And this infrastructure can be anywhere, is it? It can be on the customer's premise or on premise. It can be somewhere else, is it?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of customers who have their own data centers. They've invested a lot of money in state-of-art data centers, and they can host it within their own premises, or they have gone and signed up with a lot of service providers who are colo partners, and they can absolutely host it for them. So it is completely what should I say, agnostic to where it is hosted, and it just comes to them as a service.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Sujit, so I'll just probably also answer it a little differently also. Like when you look at TCO, the most significant change that you can bring into a business with infrastructure as a service is directing your capital towards your business innovation and your business requirement. Just think about it, right? I mean, you are spending so much of capital on your IT requirements, but there is a lot of business innovation in your products or what you're going to get to your customers, your customer experience. So you can start directing your capital towards those needs, and that itself is a TCO saving. And if you look at it from an infrastructure perspective, if you're buying infrastructure, there's a long procurement cycle, then there is a deployment cycle, then there is also an implementation phase, and finally, when the user testing happens and the ROI comes in, it's sometimes the 18 months or 12-month cycle. With infrastructure as a service model, you're getting that instantly. So that itself also is a saving. And you can put that number, you can put a number of 18% or 90%. Just look at it from a capital gains perspective, a cash flow positive situation. Business is becoming cash flow positive because they're postponing or they're putting their IT spend over a number of years. And that capital is deployed for innovation or for any other capital gains that can be possible. From a pure money market perspective, there's a lot of gains. It's a no-brainer, to be frank.
Okay. Shilpa?
We have this audience question. This is from Samshvi Holi. What magnitude of devices in which and how many units are going to prefer spectrum surrender? Because as per Atmanirbhar, we have to invest only in latest high-end compatible technology in all devices like smartphones, routers, Wi-Fi boxes, tabs, PCs to handle 5G, 6G, or 7G. What are the challenges and how many years will they take? And does it also guarantee performance?
It's a little complicated question.
I think I'll take a shot at it. Maybe Anirudh and Pratap sir, you can add. See, there are a lot of regulatory compliances that we have to meet. In fact, I'll give you a very practical example. When we were providing this as a service, this was for a very, very large public sector customer, and customer in the tender put a clause that you cannot supply products from countries sharing common border because of the geopolitical situation, right? So we went back to the customer and says, what does it mean, sir? He said, it means what it says. Government doesn't want you to buy from a certain country, so please be careful about that. So we said, sir, will it apply to us? Because we are delivering as a service. He said, see, you are using those products to deliver the service to me, so you better comply, because if there is a audit or a query from the government, you are my service provider, I will hand it over to you and you have to comply with it. The compliance is not with me. So these kind of regulatory challenges are bound to be there. And yes, I think the question is valid, that the government is also wanting to push Make in India in a big way. So, there is a lot of push, and HPE also as a company is, really working with the government to comply with some of these regulations. And, it also applies to our customers, because, they are also providing, services or products to, end customers in various verticals, right? So it is a joint responsibility. And, I think that's where I'll maybe allow Anirudh or Pratap sir to give their perspective.
Is there anything you want to say, Anirudh?
So similarly, I mean, I think Vikram answered it correctly. And when you look at it from a larger picture, we are trying to solve a bigger problem, and the industry is going to look at a lot of innovation, and a lot of requirement of technology shifts are going to happen. We have to mitigate all of that with some certain amount of a business model or a consumption model, which we believe can drive a lot of innovation. There will be regulatory issues and requirements, like Vikram said, but there are going to be a lot of innovation that is going to happen in India. A lot of innovation is going to be driven from here. The model is going to be X, but I think the evolution of Atmanirbharta is going to happen at a very amazing pace. We are in that, luckily, in that zone of how IT is going to explode, in terms of how the pandemic has taught us that digital adoption and digital transformation is going to be very key. Whether it's telecom, whether it's health, whether it's IT services or manufacturing. We're going to see a huge demand for this requirement. I think we will address it as it comes.
Yeah, I would like to add here one point that I think the Atmanirbhar or Make in India is definitely is the real word, and all of us are proud to actually associate with it. At the same time, we should not look at it as a hurdle. Some people think that this is a hurdle or maybe it create a problem because Atmanirbhar meaning that everything has to be produced and processed and then delivered in India. It is not the case. We have to actually can procure it with the global international collaboration has to be there. And then it has brought out everybody to the same platform and Make it India is basically we manufacture in India. That is what actually the Atmanirbhar we are going to go ahead. Same time, there is also a regulation recently passed that the data, like the Reserve Bank of India has said that the financial data has to remain within the same territory of that India region, geographical region. It is applicable for many other things also. Recently, we also faced this challenge that one of our application, customer-face application is hosted in Singapore, but we got an audit point that we have to have the data staying here in India's subcontinent. So now it is a business opportunity for us to bring the data because it is not a single landscape. It is actually an amalgamation of various country landscape together there. It is hosted somewhere in a different country. And how do we bring it? But we are actually discussing it. And now it is our opportunity for bringing it over here so that we create a DR, disaster recovery. And in case of any requirement for audit purpose or anything, the data is available in our subcontinent. So it is in a business opportunity even for our partner, for us to explore this and do it in an Atmanirbhar way, which actually give us a business opportunity for all of us.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you this new model that's emerging. I mean, what is the customer experience that you had? Which industries are accepting it earlier?
So Sujit, very, very good question again. And, whenever we go and talk to a customer, they really want to know whether, who has done it before them and who are, in their industry, who are actually doing this. This is a very, very common question. And, the interesting part about it is when we started it, maybe we thought maybe, startups will, latch onto this because they are the born in the cloud kind of companies. But, this offering is almost 6 years maturity in India itself. So, I'm really proud to say that we have a variety of customers across different segments. I mean, to name, we have, fintechs, we have a bank, we have manufacturing customers, we have startups, we have public sector customers, which are PSUs. We have small, medium businesses also have adopted that. And, it is something that we keep thinking about when we want to, grow this business, how do we look at what, is the value that the customers are looking, the outside in view for us, because we always have this inside out view, right? So we are also trying to understand, what is that has appealed in this offering to this particular segment of customer, whether it's small, medium, large, manufacturing, public sector. So we are constantly looking at that. And, and you also asked this question about TCO, and Pratap sir mentioned about this whole, as a service, how he's, using mobile as a service. So customers also want to, get this thing off their mind of technology refresh, because IT, the trends are so fast, the CPU, the memory, the hard disk, the whole system itself is changing so fast, the underlying software platforms. So the technology obsolescence is also a problem for our customers, which we are trying to take off, because, when at a certain period of time, we automatically refresh the infrastructure for our customers, this technology refresh is also going out. And also the TCO, we are also trying to, this is a very favorite CFO or a finance question that I get thrown at, that, what is the benefit for me, buying this in CapEx or going for a lease versus, as a service. And we have been able to crunch the numbers in the formats that those CFOs or finance people have given us and prove to them on an NPV basis that, anywhere between, 20-25%, depending on what you are buying, how much you are buying, we are able to really justify to those people who are signing the dotted line and said, yes, this is indeed, number wise and commercially benefit, while it gives all the flexibility, agility, scalability for the CIO and CTO to use. So
20-25% savings over what period?
Absolutely. Over a 5-year period,
5-year period.
Absolutely. And that's a lot of money. And as Anirudh said, we want customers to put it in their business and grow business initiatives rather than put it in something like IT, which is, fast changing.
Okay.
So Sujit, I would answer it also a little differently also. Look at organizations, IT as a service use cases, for example. How can organizations apply this in their, for what initiatives that can they apply it for? Look at it from a security standpoint, right? Look at organizations, many applications and workloads for regulatory requirements have to remain on premise, like Pratap sir said, right? And look at it, it has to remain in premise, but at the same time, it has to work in a way that is required for businesses. So IT as a service gives that flexibility so that even if the regulatory requirements will be met, and they can also have a cloud-like experience. That is just one way. In addition to that, organizations can use the overburdened teams. They can fill in the expertise gaps. You can look at it as backup as a service or disaster recovery as a service, like Pratap sir was mentioning. That becomes also an option where you look at how are you securing your business? How you making a business continuity plan? Otherwise, those will be intense investment exercises. Let's talk about the IT skills shortage, right? If you look at IT skills that is plaguing the industry today, imagine businesses which have huge IT infrastructure. Imagine the amount of workforce that they're employing only to manage an infrastructure. And then again, that entire IT staff is entrusted with the mundane task of doing regular work, whereas they can do a lot of innovation work on the business side. In fact, I had a very interesting discussion with the CIO, and he was telling me that I was sitting in his cabin and there was a huge IT team. It was a glass cabin. I could see a huge, almost 200 staff of IT team outside his cabin. And he was telling me that all of these people are doing tasks that they should not be doing. In fact, those are the tasks that you should be doing. And these people should be looking at how can they use IT to reduce the production time on their shop. Suppose the production time is 28 seconds for a particular product. How can that become 26 seconds? How can that become 25 seconds so that production can improve? So that IT teams are now focusing on running server storages, some servers down, some network is down, switch is down, and they're trying to bridge those fires up. So the use cases are plenty. Business growth expansion, security, digital transformation. I could look at so many examples, but it applies to all industries, and that's the interesting part of it.
Very interesting. Yeah, I know talent is becoming such an issue now. Yeah, for ordinary companies to get that kind of talent will be so difficult.
Imagine that talent is then mitigated by us. We are managing that talent, so that they don't have to look at it, right? I mean, that itself is cost saved, time saved, effort saved, and we're dividing the work. Let's be clear about it. We are not. And see, again, in this is also vendor agnostic, right? We are not locking in. IT is a service with a multi-cloud, the multi-tenant environment. Like Vikram said, we are there for you, but it's not that we are locking customers in. It is a very open environment. We are allowing, he mentioned AWS workloads and Azure workloads to integrate. There is a world where we believe this is an open partnership, skin in the game discussion. You manage the business. I am going to be in the driver's seat in the car. I'm going to sit in the front seat with you. I'm not going to sit in the back seat. You can drive the car, or allow me to drive the car, but we both sit together and drive the car and arrive at the destination. That's the partnership that we are talking about.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Pratap, do you want to, talk about how you're using IT as a service in your organization and how it's benefiting your firm? Also, post the pandemic, the IT strategy itself has changed. It's moved from a CapEx, OpEx model. So if you can share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think we already have discussed about that and how actually I'm audible, as a service. But as a global CIO, what will be our main topic is basically the consolidation of our infrastructure part. As a company is present in many various other countries, various locations. We have our infrastructure located at various locations, which actually is on-prem, and the data centers are there. So consolidation of those data centers is very important for us. How actually we should do it is actually we can take it as a service. So we have actually consolidating this information across, and there are various locations where data centers, we have premises where these data centers are hosting all our applications locally. So this consolidation part actually also we are very much doing, because each and every location was responsible for their applications locally, and they are maintaining it locally. So now if you move it to some services model, then what will happen is it will be a responsibility somewhere only cater to 6 or 5 locations across the globe, not more than that. And that will be much easier to make this maintenance, running the services and providing the services. And also it gives us a scalability and the flexibility much higher. I don't have to worry about when actually I have to do something, I have to scale up my infrastructure or my services or my storages into the need, or actually I have to do it. Or in the need hour where actually I don't require the services, I may have to scale down also. And that flexibility is available with me if I am going as a service. But if I am doing it as on-prem services, it is not possible, because already I have planned it for 5 years and already I have done the investment, that the infrastructure is with me, I owned by me. I have to maintain it, I have to do it, even if my requirement is much smaller or it is much higher. So that is the flexibility going away from me if I am actually hosting something on-prem. And this is a turnaround where actually this responsibility, what Anirudh also said, this IT skill is basically a bigger issue now of our organizations, because we are not able to have the IT skills for each and every segments. I don't have to have a database applications, a database service provider, application service provider, network service provider, blah, blah, blah. I do not want to have that. If I have to have, as another said, I want to have 200 to 300 people with me. I don't have to need to that. I need only that consolidation of my services to be done together and hosted somewhere in the cloud or maybe in the co-location. But the services should be provided by service provider who has all these responsibilities and the skill available with them. So only I have to worry about my business. Only I have to worry about my main process transactions, what I'm going to do. That should be only my core responsibility. I should not worry about the day-to-day operation of my application. I don't operation about my servers. That should not be my job of my core concern of areas. That is how I look into it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like electricity, why should we are not producing electricity? No company is producing its own electricity. Somebody else is doing that and we are just consuming it. And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vikram, I just want to understand, the public cloud, what I generally hear is that a lot of people are building applications on it and anybody can use it and that kind of stuff. What about applications on IKS kind of environment? You can offer any number of applications?
Yeah, so I think, Sujit, a very good question. This is actually a kind of a FUD that is being created, that, something which can run on public cloud cannot run on-prem. So it is absolutely not true. And the way, in fact, the companies are looking at it when they are designing any application or platform, or even at the customer side when they want to consume it, they want it to be agnostic, so they want to have, the customers want to have the flexibility, as Pratap sir rightly mentioned, they want to have the flexibility of running on-prem, off-prem, or in the public cloud, because it's a changing world. Today something is running on-prem, it can go to public cloud, something running in public cloud can come on-prem or go co-located. So there are different, at different points in time, there could be different strategies. So to de-risk this whole thing for customers, and it is very, very important to understand that there is hardly any application dependency, whether where it is running. So location doesn't make any difference. Yes, the kind of stack that is being used by the application provider or the developer definitely matters. So as long as you are choosing an open stack, which is platform agnostic, it can run anywhere. And this is also something that customers tend to keep in mind when they are making long-term strategic decisions, because you don't want to make these changes every 2 years or 3 years, right? So they want to build an architecture, which is again a few years ago this was a famous buzzword, right? SOA, service-oriented architecture, and I'm sure all of us would have heard about it. So it is to make a service-oriented architecture so that you can get everything as a service there. And if you want to refresh something, it doesn't impact the other elements. So that's how it works. So this whole model of developing, designing, implementing, and running, this is very, very seamless now. So and we truly believe that the choices are going to depend on efficiency, economics, and other regulatory compliances, because in this space the regulations are getting formed now, right? They didn't exist before. So we will see more and more regulation coming, and some things are bound to change. So we want to have a solid architecture which is robust, and if anything has to shift And we truly believe that it is going to shift. So let us also be with that assumption. So customers can move between public cloud providers. They can move between data center colo providers. They can move between on-prem, off-prem. So it is going to move. So we want to give the flexibility to the customers, and customers want to have the choice with them. For various reasons, they want to be able to negotiate better rate, cost, whatever it is. So we want to definitely provide this, and this is a I think a no-brainer, to be very honest, and it will definitely have no dependency on how it is going to work.
Okay. Shilpa?
Yeah, Anirudh, coming to you, when do you think IT as a service model makes more sense than the public cloud? Can you share some examples? Also compare it from a total cost of ownership standpoint.
We've talked about it in that sense, but if you just take regulatory requirements as such, and you look at the BFSI industry, look at places in the pharmaceutical industry, and there are a lot of regulatory requirements, like Pratap also mentioned, where you need to have data closer to you. You need to have them probably in a certain amount of stored in a particular amount of way. You might have to look at buying your own infrastructure or using it as a service, and that's a very classic example. But look at it from also IoT. I'll just take it to IoT and say manufacturing, and we're seeing IoT, a lot of computing happening at the edge. And the edge computing is happening for a reason that there is a lot of advantage you get when you collect data at the edge and you compute it there itself. There are a lot of insights that you drive, and the speed and agility at which businesses can benefit is tremendous. But imagine in investing into compute infrastructure and in storage infrastructure at the edge. And edges could be anywhere, and you've deployed IoT devices. Factories have smart factories, and Industry 4.0 is driving a lot of adoption of edge infrastructure. But if you adopt an IT as a service model, you can deliver that that compute capacity or storage capacity at the edge where they need it, and you can make it distributed. But because if you don't do that, you are creating silos of information at various different places, and that to process that, to make analytics out of it, is going to be very, very tremendously tough job. But you deploy an IT service as a service model or consumption-led model, you will see a lot of flexibility there. IoT is an example that I gave. I gave you regulatory. I give you IT skills as an example. There's a lot of TCO there. And generally, if you want to competitive edge, if you look at businesses, and just take it to another level, take a home baker, for example. I'm just taking a very, very elementary example, but a home baker or a restaurant which was out of business, closed due to COVID, adopted a cloud kitchen, and a home baker adopted a delivery app model, and instantly they were available for businesses. All of us, including all of us here in this session, have ordered through a cloud kitchen. And isn't that a business transformation? And that is driven through a cloud model. And that's a very simple example, but if you can think about it, businesses have to be very agile, have to have have to have technology as the latest technology. Gone are the times that you can have a technology which is 5 years old. You need a technology which is now, which is current. And if businesses have to stay current and they don't want to go out of business, they need the latest IT infrastructure. And the only way they can do that is as a service model. Otherwise, the cost arbitration is just not sufficient.
And we are almost out of time. But lastly, I mean, you want to take a guess, Anirudh, 5 years from now, the split between on-premise, ITAS, and public cloud. You want to take a guess?
More than I believe more than 60 to 70% will be as a consumption model. There would be certain on-premise infrastructure for various reasons, but upward of that, like at SHRO Systems, we are on a vision. And and our vision statement is clear that we are going to use technology and innovation to drive and to advance the human lives and businesses in general. And that is a statement which has got a lot of consumption-led IT integrated in that. I believe 80% upward of that, customer marketplaces are going to change. But as a company, we believe 50 to 60% of our business is going to come from IT consumption-led models.
Consumption-led models. Now, when you say consumption models, you also mean the public cloud, or?
So consumption-led models would mean anything. Yeah, you're right. It could mean anything, but we believe that there is a great advantage when we deliver it as a service, which is closer to the customers. That option is going to get more traction. I believe because customers are going to prefer that on a TCO basis. over time. But there are, as you rightly said, there are going to be a lot of public cloud consumption as well.
Any final words, Mr. Pratap?
Sujit,
Vikram?
yeah, I would like to say something. And I think this is my role, what I'm here for. I think I represent the user community or CIO community. What Mr. Vikram and Mr. Anirudh said is really good, the services, but only a few concerns point I like to highlight so that actually can conclude. It's IT as a service is a very good concept, and I think it is very much adaptable, and I think we are all going towards it. There's no second thought about it. But there are certain things as a community, a CIO community, what I should look forward to. One is first is only thing that I should be able to choose the services I want to go for. It should not do anything be given to me that no, this is a bundle and XYZ you take, otherwise you will not be able to get it. That is one. It should be very much transparent that what I am going to do or how I'm going to do or what will be my services or the charges going to be. It should be very much transparent so that I should, as a CIO, should be able to take a call that my investment is today is this much, and I am going to get the benefit in the second year, third year like this. So this is what actually I have to do. Third, most important, the contract management. I should not be given the burden of contract management. Will be something actually we are facing a problem in the cloud services already. As a community, I am just facing this voice. So that anytime the contracts are very simple, I should have a very limited contract that this is what the service is, this is the cost, it's a timeline. And there should not be any kind of hidden agenda or hidden things within this, so that no, it should not drive that no, if you not read this, no, write down the very small letter and the below line that no terms and conditions apply. That should not be the case. Otherwise, we are the CIOs, we are totally dependent on this service providers team, and we are going whole hog with this service. So we need a transparency, timely deliverable, cost effectiveness, and then actually the contract management simplicity. These are the 3-4 words, 3-4 things actually I as a CIO are looking forward to, and I hope that my service provider or super maybe should be able to provide this.
Okay, public cloud contracts are quite complicated now, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Final words for you, Mr. Vikram.
Yeah, I think a great interaction, and I really like what Pratap sir said. As a CIO community, I think we are here to serve our customers, and constantly hearing to what they want from us or what they expect from us. And I whenever I'm dealing with a lot of my customers who are doing this as a service and stuff like that, the frequent complaint that they make is it is only IT who's supposed to change, transform, innovate. Rest of the functions are working the same way they're working 10 years ago, whether it's finance, legal, or procurement. So that is the reality of organizations. And what we are trying to do is, as I said, when this offering is almost 6 years in India, and where we started today, and where we are today, I think we've made huge progress. And I think it is just not flexibility in the pricing or the modeling. We have to really listen to our customers, understand their pain point, and show the intent in action. So there is a give and take. So we really have traversed that whole path, and we see a lot of our competitors trying to catch up, and the learning is not in the products. The learning is in the process. What we have learned over 5 years, 6 years. It is it is going to be hugely difficult for them to replicate, because it is not written down, right? It is in the engagement, it is in the discussions that we've been having with our customers that we have got there. And as Pratap sir said, we have a very, very simple process of a contract. It just has few terms and conditions and a SOW, which is very transparent, has all the annexures. So we tell the customer also that what is the a maximum that you can hit. Let's say you really grow very fast and you hit all your growth numbers in 3 years, 5 years, where are you going to look at? So we give all kind of number simulations to our customers so that they know that, okay, this is my upper limit. And, it is important because they are doing the budgeting. See, when a CIO has to go to the CFO and say, this is the project, 5 years, this is what it will cost. While there will be variation on a monthly basis, he also has to put an upper cap and say, it is going to cost me maybe, in this range for the next 5 years. So, I think, that's all from my side. I think I've given a longish answer, but, I think that's the truth.
So just a minute, I wanted to say, Pratap sir, as a CIO community, you said exactly pinpointed, and as a partner community, we've heard you, and we will ensure that those are taken care of. Point noted, and thank you for being a SHRO System customer. But this point is important, and we have noted it. Duly noted.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, wonderful. Great to see this. I mean, I know the tech industry is changing so fast. All these newer models emerging. Just when you think that public cloud is the way to go, then you newer models like this emerging, and you think, yeah, I mean, this sounds so much better for many workloads. So thanks a lot. Great discussion. Thank you, Mr. Pratap, Anirudh, Vikram, for being on this platform. Hope to see you again. Yeah, thanks, Shilpa.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sujit.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shirpa.
And have a great
Thank
evening
Thank you,
ahead.
Vikram. Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you.
Great
Bye.
evening.
Great.
See you
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.